Now everybody knows about Faber, everybody knows about Sentosa, everybody knows about Pepis, and I mean that's a very normal standard climb for Singapore, where you settle the south side and then you just go home after that. That's the end of the ride. But today I'm gonna bring you on a place where we're gonna be doing some other smaller climbs. I would say smaller climbs, and a bit less gone to, except for one. I think one is rather popular, one of it. So I'm gonna bring you to see these certain climbs, and it's actually quite nice. I actually quite like all these climbs, and Singapore has a lot of short punchy climbs even on the normal road itself. Like what you saw just now was Kembangan Hill, which is a climb that I have to go through every morning if I want to go for a ride. So unless I go TMCR, then I don't need to climb that shit. But it's a very common climb, and it's very common to see short punchy climbs like this in Singapore everyday roads. So I'm gonna bring you onto some other smaller climbs that you can try out on your next ride, and you can even plot it into your route also.
Now we are gonna be turning into the very first climb of the day, which is Mount Emily Park. Now Mount Emily Park is actually quite a nice place to climb because there isn't many cars going up or coming down, and also there really isn't many runners at the side of the road, so you don't have to worry about trying to avoid them. Now you will be greeted with many landed properties around the area, and it'll just leave you to wonder like why you don't have any of the money to go and buy any of these houses, and then you look down and realize that you spent 10 to 20,000 on your bike. Now this is also one of the reasons why Mount Emily is nice. It is because it is a long and like slow climb, so you don't really have to push out a lot of power. I was maybe doing like 180-200 watts in the draft, although that might seem a lot to many people, but like I'm a heavy person, so that's kind of normal. Now the climb itself is actually quite fun. As I said just now, it's gonna be long and like slow, so it's quite therapeutic for some people. And having to see all the trees, greenery, all the expensive houses like the one coming up right now, yeah, you're just gonna be in awe, and you're just going to be like, it's quite chill lah, especially in the morning where the sun hasn't come up yet, it's still kind of windy, and everything is just so peaceful.
Better be 30 啊，骗人啊。I thought you said 30. Huh? I thought you said 30. Why 34? Kena caught.
Now approaching the second climb of the day, we have the 4th Avenue climb. Now 4th Avenue climb, although it isn't really very like unknown, but many people have not actually tried the 4th Avenue climb, and I actually asked quite a few people on this ride like whether or not they have came to 4th Avenue to climb before, and many of them have said no. So I guess it is a relatively, I would say it's a relatively less popular climb, and that's why it is part of the video here today. Now it looks so daunting, like you can just scroll back a few seconds ago and look at the climb. It looks so steep, and I wouldn't be like surprised if anyone decides to skip it because it just looks so painful. Now you can see me frantically just trying to change my gears to the smallest chainring to the biggest cork, just so that I can go up this extremely steep climb. Although I don't know the actual like percentage, but it's painful. It's just pain. And don't ever come here on the wet, because after the wet today I realized that my back wheel kept like spinning off. So don't know whether it's just a skill issue or whether it's the terrain issue, but yes, don't do it in the rain, don't do it in the wet, just do it with your own caution, I guess. Now if you like the video so far, remember to go and like, share and subscribe. It helps the algorithm for people to go and find out about the video, and share it to your cycling friends so that you guys can go and plan a new route based off these different climbs if you guys are planning to do a climbing route. Now, I mentioned somewhere earlier in the video that Singapore has a lot of small roads that are actually uphill or downhill, and a lot of these small roads, like, they are hidden in these kind of areas where there are housing areas, landed property areas, and one of these places, which is actually this climb, is the Old Holland Road climb. Now, the Old Holland Road climb actually has a lot of exits, so you can lead you to many different places, so you can just easily incorporate it into your route itself. Now, although there isn't much to see at this climb, you can also see expensive houses, and it's just quite nice to be off the main road for a while and just constant climbing. Now, moving on to the next climb of the day, which I forgot is number what already, is actually Rifle Range Road. Now, Rifle Range Road, although it isn't very common, or actually it is quite common and a lot of people know about this, and a lot of people actually climb Rifle Range, I think it's quite nice, and I'm just putting it here because I did it and the group did it, and it's actually quite a nice climb, and it's very nice because there's a lot of greenery around you. It's not that hot because it's very shaded, and it's a painful climb. Now, it's really not easy, but it's also not extremely hard, so it's quite nice to climb if you like a bit of pain but not really.
Now, I honestly don't recommend anybody to come here when it's wet. It's very painful, and you don't know when you might fall. Like, there has been constant instances where I keep, like, the wheel has no grip and then it keeps spinning. So just watch out for that and be careful with that lah. But if not, you're gonna come on a dry line. I think it's quite fun.
Next station, NUS. Now, this is obviously a very common climb in like Singapore context, and many people has already been to NUS. However, there are still many people who has not been to NUS yet. And for those that have not been to NUS and you are still watching this video, I do beg you to go and try out NUS because it is quite fun. Now, you go around one loop around the campus and you go up several up and downs, which is quite interesting, and the downs are pretty long and pretty fun, so you don't really need much technical skill in order to turn these corners. But I would like to say that the climbs definitely are a bit painful, and they are quite long as well, so it's like constant up and down throughout the entire NUS. So just go and try it once if you have not tried it yet.
You can see from everyone's faces, after a long, not really a long day, but after tackling a lot of steep climbs throughout the day, faces are quite shaky. But then again, we are all weekend warriors, so we don't really train, so I guess to us this is shag. But your mileage may vary. It might be tiring to you, it might not be tiring to you. It really all depends on your own fitness level and stuff like that. But as right now we are in NUS, some people may say it's hard, some people may say it's okay. Really depends on you, and it's good to go and give it a try and test out where your fitness level is, especially with climbs, because a lot of people in Singapore are sprinters, not many people in Singapore are climbers. So climbing is quite fun if you like pain and you're a sadist and you like to feel pain in your own body.
Now, towards the end of the NUS climb towards NUH and SBV, which is South Buona Vista Road, you're gonna be greeted with this extremely long climb beside the dormitories, and it is quite painful and I'm actually suffering. But I do know that after I turn right from here, it's gonna be South Buona Vista Road, which is a downhill all the way.